Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight up. Love is not always loud. Sometimes the way a man feels about you isn't shown through grand gestures or constant texts. No, sometimes love is quiet, subtle, and you've got to know how to read it. And today, I'm going to break it down for you. If a man does these three things, he's not avoiding you. He's in love. Let me tell you something about love. A lot of people think love has to be loud. They think it's all about grand gestures, constant texting, flowers every day, big romantic speeches, the stuff you see in the movies. But I'm here to tell you, real love doesn't always make a lot of noise. Sometimes love is quiet, it's subtle. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss it entirely. A man who truly loves you doesn't have to announce it from the rooftops. He shows it in ways that don't always make sense to the casual observer, but to the woman he loves, it's loud enough to fill a room. Think about it. How many times have you been with a man who says all the right things but doesn't back it up with action? That's easy. Anybody can talk about love. Anybody can say, I love you 20 times a day, but the man who's really in love, he doesn't need to shout it. He shows up when you need him. He remembers the little things. He notices when you're tired, when you're stressed, when something's bothering you, even if you haven't said a word. That's love speaking quietly, and if you're smart, you'll catch it. Real love is in the consistency. It's in the way he checks on you, not because he has to, but because he genuinely cares. It's in the way he remembers the little details about your life, like your favorite drink, your favorite song, or even the way you like your hair done. And I'm telling you, ladies, that attention to detail isn't small. It's everything. It shows that he's paying attention, that he's invested, that he's thinking about you even when you're not around. Actions like that, even though they don't come with a drum roll or a spotlight, are louder than any words he could ever say. And don't get me wrong, men who love quietly aren't weak. They're not afraid of love. They're just confident enough to show it in a way that's real, not performative. They don't need to impress you with noise or drama because they know that their actions over time will speak volumes. Love is built in the little moments, the everyday things, the gestures that go unnoticed by everyone else but mean the world to you. That's the difference between someone who's just interested and someone who's in love. So when you see a man making an effort in small ways, when you notice his presence in your life, even if he's not screaming it from the top of a building, pay attention. That's love, ladies. It may not be loud, but it's there. And the day you finally realize it, you'll understand something very important. Sometimes the quietest love is the strongest love there is. You ever notice how the smallest details can tell you the biggest story? That's what I'm talking about when I say genuine attention shows real love. Some people think love is about the big stuff, dinners, trips, flashy gifts, but real love lives in the details. When a man truly cares about you, he remembers the little things you say, the things you like, the things that make you smile, and even the things that frustrate you. He remembers them not because he has to not because he's keeping score, but because you matter to him. That's attention, and it's louder than any words. Think about it like this. If a man remembers your favorite color, the way you like your coffee, or that one song that makes you tear up every time you hear it, that's not coincidence. That's him paying attention. That's him thinking about you even when you're not around. And the beauty of it is, most people don't notice these things. They overlook them. But a man in love doesn't. He notices. He keeps mental notes about you because he values every part of who you are. And when he acts on those details, that's when you really see the depth of his feelings. Attention to detail isn't just about remembering fun stuff either. It's about noticing when something's wrong, even when you haven't said a word. He can tell when you're tired, when you're sad, when something's weighing on your mind. He picks up on your moods, your expressions, the little shifts in your energy. That kind of awareness doesn't come from just being around. It comes from caring deeply. And when he reacts, when he checks on you, when he steps in to support you in ways that matter, that's love in action. Some women think that if a man isn't texting nonstop or making grand gestures, he's not interested. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Real love isn't always flashy. It's in the quiet moments where he listens intently, remembers what you said last week, or surprises you with something that makes your day easier. He's noticing patterns, learning what makes you happy, and using that knowledge to show you he cares. That's attention in its purest form. So pay attention to the way he notices you, the way he remembers things you think you've forgotten, and the way he acts on it. Those small gestures are love showing up without a headline. That's how you know he's serious. That's how you know he's not just playing the part. It's not about the loudest words. It's about the quiet details that prove he's thinking about you, loving you, and putting you first in ways that words alone could never do justice. You ever see a man who's protective and immediately some people assume he's trying to control you? That's where most folks get it twisted. Protectiveness doesn't mean domination. It doesn't mean he's trying to boss you around. No, real protectiveness comes from love. It comes from caring about your well-being so much that he wants to make sure nothing or nobody hurts you. That's the difference between someone trying to control and someone genuinely in love. When a man loves you, he protects you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically, not because he's insecure or selfish, but because your happiness matters to him. Think about it. When a man truly loves you, he notices the things around you that could cause harm. He watches for danger. He looks out for situations that could hurt you, and he's quick to step in without being asked. That's protectiveness, and it's a form of love that doesn't need a spotlight. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't make a show of it. He quietly makes sure you're safe, you're comfortable, and that no one is taking advantage of you. And that kind of love, that's rare. That's the kind of love that sticks around because it's rooted in care, not ego. Emotional protectiveness is just as important. He notices when someone's words hurt you or when situations make you feel small. A man in love will defend your feelings without you having to fight for them. He'll step up for you, not to prove anything to the world, but because he knows how valuable you are, and he refuses to let anyone undermine that. That's love acting like a shield, standing between you and anything that could dim your light. Protectiveness like that is not possessive, it's nurturing. It's the kind of love that says, I see you, I value you, and I'm here to make sure you're okay. Physical protectiveness, though subtle sometimes, speaks volumes too. It's in the small things, making sure you get home safely, offering a hand when you're tired, even standing by your side when situations get rough. It's not about showing off strength. It's about being present, being reliable, and showing up when it counts. When a man does these things, he's not avoiding you or acting distant. He's loving you in a way that words can't fully express. So don't mistake protectiveness for control. Don't confuse care with intimidation. The man who truly loves you will protect you because he values you and because your well-being matters more to him than his own comfort. That's the kind of love that's rare and powerful, the kind of love that's shown in actions before words. And if you notice it, appreciate it, and recognize it, you'll understand that his heart is in the right place and he's fully committed to keeping you safe and cherished in every way that counts. You ever notice how some men seem too busy to notice anything or anyone? That's why prioritization is one of the clearest signs a man is in love. When a man truly cares about you, he makes time for you. No excuses, no half-hearted attempts. He doesn't wait until it's convenient or until everything else is done. He carves out space in his life because you matter to him, and that's the difference between someone who's just interested and someone who's fully invested. Prioritization isn't just about making plans. It's about showing up when it counts, even when life is pulling him in 100 directions. Think about if a man loves you, he will find ways to be present, even when he's busy, stressed, or tired. He might not always have the perfect words or the most elaborate gestures, but he will show up in ways that matter. It could be something as simple as making sure he's there for an important event in your life, or taking time out of his day just to check on you. When he prioritizes you, he's telling you that you're important, that your happiness matters, and that he's willing to adjust his life to include you. That's love being practical and real. Prioritization also shows in the little choices. It's in the way he answers your calls or messages promptly, even when he's got other responsibilities. It's in the way he listens when you talk, giving you his full attention instead of half, paying attention while scrolling on his phone. It's in the way he remembers what you need and takes action before you even ask. These small acts may seem minor, but over time, they add up and show you where you stand in his life. And make no mistake, if he consistently chooses to include you in his priorities, he's not avoiding you, he's in love. You see, a man who's not prioritizing you is easy to spot. He's always too busy. He always has something else to do, and you feel like you're chasing him. But the man who truly loves, you will bend his schedule, rearrange plans, and make sacrifices just to make sure you're taken care of and feel valued. That's the difference between someone who's playing the game and someone who's serious. Love isn't about who shouts the loudest or who buys the most expensive gifts. It's about who shows up for you when it matters most. So watch closely how he manages his time and energy. Notice who he makes room for and who he consistently shows up for. A man in love will always prioritize you without having to be asked. He won't make you feel like an option or like you have to fight for attention. Prioritization is love in motion. It's the proof in the actions, not the promises. When a man shows you that you matter enough to be first in his mind and schedule, that's when you know his heart is fully invested and he's not avoiding you. He's choosing you every single day. A lot of people get it twisted when a man is quiet. They think silence means he's losing interest, that he's avoiding you, or that he doesn't care. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the man who's truly in love isn't loud, he isn't dramatic, and he doesn't feel the need to prove himself every second. Real love can be quiet, and silence can actually be a sign of deep thought, respect, and emotional investment. You see, when a man loves you, he doesn't always need to fill the air with words. He's thinking about you, he's planning, he's making moves, and he's observing, all in silence. Silence can mean he's paying attention in ways you can't even see. Maybe he's watching how your day is going, listening carefully to your feelings, or noticing the things that make you happy or upset. While others might be busy talking themselves into relevance, he's quietly learning about you, understanding you, and figuring out how to be the kind of man you need. That's not avoidance, that's strategy, and it's born from love. Think about it. When a man is silent but consistent, he shows up when it counts. He might not call or text every hour, but when you need him, he's there. He doesn't have to constantly reassure you because his actions already do that. He's not playing games. He's simply operating on a level that requires observation, thought, and patience. Silence in this case is not emptiness. It's presence without noise. And ladies, presence without noise can be louder than the loudest words you've ever heard. Also, silence can show respect. A man in love knows that your space, your feelings, and your thoughts are important. He doesn't need to crowd you with words or try to dominate the conversation. He's content letting the relationship breathe, letting it grow, and letting it develop naturally. That's maturity in love, and it's rare. It's a kind of silence that says, I'm here, I care, and I'm not going anywhere without needing to announce it. So don't mistake quietness for indifference. Don't assume that lack of constant texting, calling, or attention means lack of interest. Sometimes the man who loves you most is the one who doesn't shout it from the rooftops, but proves it quietly, consistently, and intentionally. His silence is not distance, it's depth. His quietness is not boredom, it's reflection. His restraint is not avoidance, it's commitment. When you learn to recognize that, you'll see the signs of love everywhere he shows up, even when words are few. If you pay attention, you'll notice that silence is not emptiness, it's intention. It's a man thinking, learning, observing, protecting, and loving in his own way. And once you understand that, you'll never misread quiet for indifference again, because real love doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it just exists quietly, powerfully, and fully. You know, one of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is looking for love in all the wrong places. They're waiting for the words, the grand declarations, the over-the-top gestures. And while they're busy waiting, the real love is happening quietly right in front of them, and they don't even notice it. Love is not just about what someone says, it's about what someone does. Actions are the heartbeat of love, and if you don't recognize them, you're going to miss the entire story. You've got to learn to see the love that's shown in the everyday moments, the small things that add up to something monumental. Think about a man who remembers the little details about your life, your favorite drink, your favorite show, the way you like your coffee in the morning. He doesn't just remember because he's polite or trying to impress you. He remembers because he's paying attention. He's showing love in ways that don't require words. That's the kind of love that matters, the kind that lasts, because it's consistent, intentional, and personal. Recognizing it is the first step to appreciating it. When a man puts effort into remembering who you are and what you like, that effort alone is proof that he's invested. That's action speaking louder than words. And it goes beyond remembering small things. It's in the ways he shows up for you. Maybe he's there when you need help, even if it's inconvenient. Maybe he's listening when you vent, even when he's tired from a long day. Maybe he's supporting you in ways that nobody else notices, quietly, without fanfare. Those actions matter. They're not flashy. They're not Instagram-worthy, but they're real. They're the kind of love that doesn't get celebrated by the world, but it changes your life. That's why recognizing and appreciating it is so important. If you don't, you risk taking it for granted and overlooking the depth of his commitment. Appreciation is equally important. When a man does these things, acknowledging it reinforces the love he's showing. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be a big speech. A simple thank you, a smile, or a gesture that shows you see him and value his efforts goes a long way. Men notice when their love is recognized. They notice when their efforts are appreciated, and that acknowledgement encourages them to continue showing up in meaningful ways. Love is a cycle. It grows when it's seen, recognized, and valued. One more thing, recognize that love through actions is often patient. It doesn't